relationship is not knowing whether to stay or to leave. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but if you're in a relationship and you're not sure whether or not you should just go ahead and cut your losses and take your broken heart on, or if you should fight a little bit longer, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. And if that's really difficult for you to navigate right now, this is the video for you. You're in the right place. So let me back up a bit and give you some backstory. So I was on a live chat with my Self-Crown VIP and I got the question exactly how to know when it's time to leave. Now, of course, the circumstances vary. You know, you got people that are in relationships for years and years and years. In this young lady's case, I think it was like 5 years or something like that. They had a young child. It really, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter because it does. But at the end of the day, if your heart is invested, your mental health is invested. If your mental health is invested, that means your sanity, your ability to function is invested. So, you know, like I know, you're not playing no small game here. And you can't make this whimsically. You know, they can't make this choice whimsically. But I'm going to tell you something. There's 4 ways to know that it's time to leave, that it's time to walk away. And none of these will make it easy. But if you ignore any of these, you'll be making one of the biggest mistakes of your life. The first way that you know that it's time to go is if you notice that your needs in the relationship are treated like an extracurricular activity to your person. If your needs clearly expressed, tactfully, respectfully expressed at the right time, you know, at the best time you can even find, are treated like something they'll get to when they get to, if they feel like getting to it, whenever it's, you know, everything else they do that's actually important is done, that's when you know it's time to leave. Or that's one of the ways that you know that it's time to leave. Because I'm not a believer that either person's entire life should revolve around their partner. I don't care how special they are, whatever, you know, married, not married, it don't matter. You should have your own life outside of your partner. But this is one of the most important roles a person can play in your life. If not the most important role a person can play on your life. You're going to hand somebody your heart, again, your mental health, your sanity, your physical health, because y'all are probably having sex unprotected, right? You're going to hand somebody the responsibility to help you raise a child. If y'all do have children, like an entire human being, set the blueprint for them, break generational curses, or give them generational trauma to have to heal from as well. You're going to give that person the keys to all of that, but they're going to treat your needs like it's something, maybe not, I'll get to whenever I can. It's time to go. It's time to go. Your needs should be just as important as the role that you're playing in their life, and vice versa. So if you get the feeling like, man, every time I say what I need from them, it goes in one ear out the other, or they find some way to deflect, or really it never shows up in action form consistently, that's a sign. That's a sign. Now, that's not the only sign. So don't think that, the moment that you see this present itself, it's time to go. Another thing that lets you know it's time to leave is when repair is an inconvenience. And what I mean by that, okay, first off, this is what repair is. And I think this is the single most important and deciding factor as to whether or not a relationship can last. The single most, not intimacy, not sex, not even religiously being equally yoked, but the ability to repair, which is the ability to come back after conflict and re-engage in intimacy and rebuild whatever trust was lost. Repair, basically conflict resolution. If repair is an inconvenience in itself, or in the way that will be most effective, it's time for you to go. Let me break that down a little bit more. You guys have an argument. You guys have a falling out. You said something that he ain't like. He say something that you ain't like, whatever. And he doesn't want to talk about it. Or if he does want to talk about it, he wants to do it his way or the highway. He's not interested in a more effective way to communicate with you. He's not open-minded to, hey, let's get a third party involved. Let's watch a YouTube video because there's great resources on there. Let's go get a course. Let's go get a book. Let's go to church. He's not open to anything other than the way that he knows how to do things. Meaning effective repair is now an inconvenience for him. Being better in his repair, growing in that aspect is an inconvenience, or doing it at all is an inconvenience. He's cool with the wedge just staying there. He's cool just going to sleep in the guest room. He's cool with it. He's cool with you beating yourself up and being in shame until you just come begging for another chance. He's cool with it. He just wants it to be an opportunity to have makeup sex, but he doesn't want to actually have true repair in a relationship. It's time for you to go. You cannot make it with anybody who does not have the ability to either repair in the relationship, resolve conflict, or grow in that capacity, because you do have people that come in and they don't know what they're doing. They've never seen it done correctly, but foundationally, they're willing and they're able to adapt something new in how they repair. I've seen people come back from the worst situations. I'm talking about all the deal breakers in the world, and I would never ever tolerate that. But the common denominator is that they had the ability to repair. And the same thing goes vice versa. I've seen people break up entire homes, families, years and years and years and years over something so small, but they did not have the ability to repair. If you or your partner do not have the ability to come back after whatever disagreements you have, either by way of like sudden death, that relationship is going to die, or similar to a terminal illness, that relationship is going to erode until there's nothing left. No friendship, no intimacy, no reason to even be together. Every little argument is going to pile up and snowball until you two resent each other, hate each other, maybe start sabotaging each other. And God forbid if you have kids that are seeing y'all do this and that's becoming their normal. So if you or your partner don't have the ability to repair, it's time to go. Also, 3, and this is where a lot of this also comes down to, if you have maxed out your threshold for grace, it's time to go. It's time to go. Now, what is a threshold for grace? This is the amount of time you can go without a particular need being met or a particular standard being risen to without you becoming a lesser version of yourself in a relationship. I'm not one of those people that believe that everybody is just their best self 24/7. We all got a dark side. I know I do. So if your dark side is going to come forth, right, because you've been waiting out this person's process in a major area of the relationship that matters to you, but your dark side is going to come forth, it's time for you to leave. And this is something I wish I knew in my younger years, and I don't hear this talked about enough, because everybody want to believe they're the best version of themselves 24/7. That's not true. Ladies, be real with yourselves. There's a version of that man, or there's a way that he can operate that will bring out a version of you that you're not even proud of, that talks to him crazy, doesn't respect him, is repulsed by him, doesn't want to have sex with him or meet any of his sexual needs, doesn't want to cook for him, clean for him. You're just not your best self in that relationship. Whatever your threshold for grace is, this ain't about repair. This is one of those things where you know this person has this flaw, or you realize that they messing up in this area, they're falling short, and the clock starts ticking. Whatever amount of time is on that clock is your threshold for grace. So let's say one area for you that's really important in a relationship is financial stability, financial provision, right? But your man right now, he needs you to cover some bills. He needs some money from you, okay? Your threshold for grace clock is immediately ticking at that point. Whatever, if it's a year that you can go while still treating him like the man that you know he is, treating him according to his plan and his work ethic. If it's 2 years, 3 years, that's your threshold for grace. Once you get past that, don't stick in there because once upon a time you did and you feel like it's the right thing to do. If you know what's coming forth now is a version of you that feels so unsafe, you can't even look at him the same. That's talking to him crazy, talking down to him. Or maybe an aspect of your relationship is sexual needs being met, but his libido ain't high. His testosterone is low. He has ED, whatever. We grown folks here. However long you can go without your sexual needs being met before your eyes start wandering, before you start getting a little lippy with him because you walking around sexually frustrated, you got to establish that before you even get in a relationship. And once that threshold is hit, you got to be the one to say, hey, look, I'm not saying that you're just this horrible person, but I know my needs are no longer being met here. And I don't want to become the version of me that I could be if I stay here and I try to force this. And one more way, and this is really important as well, and it's more relevant now because of social media, but one more way that you know you need to leave is if the person that you look at as irreplaceable has begun treating you and talking to you like you're expendable. And the reason why I say this is because social media, the internet period, gives us all so many options. It gives us the illusion of so many options. Actually, a mentor of mine, Paul Brunson, was just talking about a study that he saw that said that in years past, there were way less options available to like our grandparents, but the satisfaction with their choice was much higher, as opposed to now, because of dating sites and Instagram and this, that, and the other. The amount of options is astronomically higher, but correlatively, the amount of satisfaction with our choice is actually lower. So now what we have is a lot of relationships where, especially if the person is desirable, you got a man that got some money, you got a woman with some good looks or whatever. It's this thing where it's like, okay, you're expendable. You can get out of here anytime you want to. And that comes from a place of the person trying to feel safe, but also a person that can be disillusioned by how many options are constantly waiting for their opportunity. You know, the DMs is full, Tinder is full, whatever. And this starts in the dating scene. This is where a lot of people are going to start disagreeing with me, and that's fine. But this is why I do not believe casually dating for a serious relationship. I don't. I believe in courting. And this is, again, something I had to learn through personal experience as well as professional observation. But casual dating, let's go ahead and, as a side note, let's go ahead and talk about this. Casual dating is for people who do not want anything serious. If you dating somebody, third, fourth, fifth, sixth date, and it's cool with them to be with or go and date whoever and sexually engage with whoever and split attention and time with whoever, and you do the same, that is not setting you up for success in a long-term relationship or marriage. Casual dating is for people who are at a point in their life where, you know what, a little companionship, a little bit of romantic sexual needs would be nice, but not really going to play an integral part of my whole life and what I'm trying to build. Or a person who is so emotionally cold and iced out, or a person who is so, just busy with life, they only got this much capacity for somebody else, but it would be nice to have. That's what casual dating is for. I'm not bashing you. I'm not judging you if that's what you on. Just be real with yourself. But if you want something real, you should be courting. Now, what's the difference? Courting is going to be a lightweight type, like diet version of a relationship in terms of the focus. Because this is what happens whenever you casually date for a serious relationship. You're basically having a tryout for a person playing soccer. You're going to have tryouts for this person. You have a workout where they're playing soccer. Just to say, okay, now I'm ready to sign you a contract to play Major League Baseball. Completely different sports. In soccer, you just kicking the ball. Y'all just sharing the ball. Maybe you score, maybe you don't. Woo, big whoop. But in baseball, you got one batter, one pitcher, one swing at a time. You're trying to hit a home run. And there's so many people who are, vetting a person in soccer just to sign them in Major League Baseball and wonder why they lose or they forfeit whenever it comes time to play that game, because y'all was never practicing for that game. But courting, whenever you guys have like a focus on each other, because this is, again, the most important role a person can play in your life. I don't know how anybody, myself included, ever thought we could do this and vet somebody for this type of role while splitting our attention amongst other people at the exact same time. But it's foolish. And it's a setup. Courtship, from the very beginning. Hey, let me see how you would function in a relationship in terms of your focus, in terms of your conflict resolution, in terms of your communication, in terms of your ability to burn bridges and keep those bridges burned before I get emotionally invested. Before my whole heart is invested, before we have children involved, before we done started a business together or multiple businesses together, before our credit is there, before we get our families together in a place and we exchange vows, before we get a home together and a mortgage together, before we do any of that, let me get a preview of how you would try to function in a relationship. Now, I'm not saying move in together. I'm not saying y'all have unprotected sex together on day one and nothing like that to court. But the focus aspect, the communication aspect should absolutely be there in the very beginning. Otherwise, what happens is you end up with somebody who thinks you're supposed to compete even in a relationship. Because what happens is this: whenever you say, okay, I'm going to be with you, but you got to outwork somebody else or compete somebody else, and then this is in a dating phase. Oh, you won. Therefore, now I can just be with you. What happened was how somebody else performed affected how they were willing to engage with you. That's a dangerous dynamic. Their feelings inspired their monogamy, not their principles or their commitment. So what happens in a relationship? The feelings are there, but what happens when you fall out of love? What happens whenever it feels numb? Those feelings that were there, all the lovey-dovey honeymoon feelings, I'm so in love with you. What happens when that's not immediately accessible? Because y'all going through it right now. Y'all a little distant right now. Y'all hitting some hard times right now. Stress is high right now. What's going to happen? They're going to default back to whatever it was before. Oh, I'm now looking around because it was my feelings that inspired the monogamy. Or what happens whenever you're not holding up your end of the bargain right now? Are they going to want to repair, or are they going to want to measure you against your competition? Because it's always going to be somebody competing for your spot. So if you have a person that doesn't know how to end that competition, not based on their feelings, but based on their commitment, it's time to go. If you're in a relationship with somebody who treats you like you're expendable and you see them as irreplaceable, it's time to go. And most people who feel like you're expendable are doing so because they're looking at their other options. You're still in competition. This is why it's so important to be with somebody who is equally yoked, not just on a spiritual level, but a mental and emotional level. Ladies, a man who is evolved, I know y'all not coming across them that often. And let me say, it ain't even because they don't exist. There's so many evolved men out here who are looking for women like y'all, who have done the work, like y'all, who are interested in being in something serious, like y'all, who are not about somebody competing all the time, but you're ready to be courted. There's so many evolved men who hit me up and they're ready for that. But a lot of y'all don't know the strategies to stick out and to make those evolved men crave you. Something you were really designed to do, but you were never taught how to tap into. And yes, you do have to tap into it. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about whenever I say that, but you want to know, you want to learn, you're in position, you're ready for an evolved man, I actually already gave those strategies out for free on my masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. If you have not gotten access to that yet, click that link that you see pinned right here. Go ahead and register for your free spot so you don't miss it. Get access to the free masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. It's right here pinned down in this comment. It's also in the caption whenever you back out, because I laid it out in depth, but I made it super simple so you could apply it today and start seeing results in the first 24 hours. But back to what I was saying. One of the hardest positions to be in a relationship or in any situation where you love somebody is trying to figure out whether or not you should stay or just leave. You can't make that decision based on your feelings. But I will tell you this. If following your heart leads you away from your peace, it's time for you to take your heart and follow your peace away from the person that's making you choose between the two. Those are just my thoughts. I'm your internet brother trying to look out for you. If you got anything of value from this conversation, share it for somebody else right now. Hit that share button right now for somebody else on your timeline who also needs to be blessed by this message. Right now, hit that share button. And if you're in the market for an evolved man, ladies especially, and you want those strategies on how to make evolved men crave you for free, click the link that you see pinned right here down in the comments by my page right here, this one right here. Or click the link that you see in the caption. Get access to it now. Jump on over there. Get those strategies. Again, absolutely free, but it's coming down soon. Holla at your lady. Y'all be good. Peace.